Hello, welcome. I'm Hannah, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video from videos that I've done because it's going to be my first ever collective haul eye swatch video. Usually I'll eye swatch new collections, stuff like that, but today I have a couple shadows from a couple of my favorite brands that I'm so excited about. Some I've mentioned wanting, some were recommended by you guys, some I've used before, some I haven't. So we're just going to get into it. First, I'll tell you what I have. I have 4 shadows from Shine by SD that we'll start with. I got Ice Blink, Crown Flash, and Fogbow from the Earthborn collection with Seeking Shifts. I'm so excited. I've been eyeing them for so long and I wasn't able to make a decision about which ones I wanted to pick up. I finally did, and I finally got them. And then I also got Dangerous, because when I mentioned wanting to declutter Ingrid from Odin's Eye, which I have since decluttered because it was stinky, this was suggested as an alternative that might have a similar shift. It does look pretty yellow in the pan, but I haven't put it on my eyes yet, so we'll see if it has that greeny look to it also. From Terra Moons, I have Lunar Lavender. I've been told it's the most beautiful, dimensional, sparkly shadow from them, and it is at the lower price point, which is really cool. And I got Big Dipper, which I wanted because it seems like it's in the Cosmos family, and I love the Cosmos. From Clionadh, I got Palace, which I've been eyeing since their expansion, and then I got Cinder and Tessera, which are both from the Electric Multichrome collection. And I've mentioned that some of my favorite shadows that I got from the expansion were from the Electric Multichrome collection, so it made me want to try more of them. So I'm gonna zoom you in, and we're gonna put these on my eyes. So first we're going to start with the 3 Earthborn shadows, and I'm so excited about them. I want to give a big shout out to Seeking Shifts. If for some reason you haven't encountered her content, I really recommend it. Her Instagram is a great resource about indie single shadow content. She also now has a YouTube channel where she does more extended dives into multichrome, beautiful shadows. I was finding her content really helpful about the collection that she put together with Shine by SD. Because there was one post in particular where she had 2 shadows that looked pretty similar and pinpointed differences between them. For me, I want sparkly shadows all the way. She did have a little bit of a variety of more smooth finish looking shadows and more sparkly finish looking shadows, and I went sparkly. So when there was 2 that looked similar to me, I think one of them was Alpenglow and Fogbow. It said Alpenglow was more of a smooth finish. It said Fogbow was more of a sparkly finish, so I knew that Fogbow was the one that was right for me. So I love that. I love when someone presents eyeshadows in a more data-focused way, breaking it down by individual differences. So helpful. I recommend it if you like that type of thing. The first shadow that looks like the crown jewels of the collection, in my sparkly loving opinion, is Ice Blink. And this is one that I have already used before, and I can tell you, it's really sparkly. It's just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, in person than it looks online. There's so many different colors of sparkle in here. Let me pull up the description. Okay, it's described as an iridescent multichrome that shifts from spicy orange, gold, green, teal with blue, purple, gold, and silver sparkles. It has such a nice texture to it when you pick it up. It doesn't feel flaky or anything, it just feels nice and soft, but it has that grit to it because it has so much sparkles in it. Ooh, so pretty. I feel like the shadow manages to look sparkly but also look wet at the same time. I don't know if that's just because of all the contrast between the sparkles, but it's so pretty. I've also seen her share a lot of posts of different people using it. It looks gorgeous over different color bases, neutral bases. It really kind of transforms the look. It works well on an inner corner, but I love that it also works all over the lid. It's like a neutral, but it's so much fun, you know? I'll pop up a little look of me wearing it I felt like it looked so pretty on my eyes, but because it doesn't have like an inherent base to it, it makes it versatile and easy to wear. I'm really excited to put it over, I want to say minky brown base because that's the shade of the Victoria Beckham shadow that I know Hope Mess Tom used it over, and Riley recreated it. I don't know if she used the Victoria Beckham product or something similar, but I loved the look of that. I want to wear it over already gorgeous browns and make them more gorgeous. So excited about this shadow. The next shadow from the Earthborn collection with Shine by SD is Fogbow. It's described as an iridescent multichrome that shifts from lilac, pink, peach, gold, green with vibrant fuchsia sparkles. I love any shadows in the pink family, and I felt like this looked like a pink iridescent that my collection is kind of missing. I don't really have pink iridescent shadows. I did use this once on my inner corners and it looked really pretty and sparkly. I haven't given it its moment to like shine on my eyelids yet though. It is a similar texture to Ice Blink, if anything a touch more smooth, but still has that nice kind of like pickup to it. I do think it goes on a little bit smoother than Ice Blink, but so much sparkle. When I used this on my inner corner the other day, I felt like it had a little bit of a white base to it, which I wasn't opposed to because I feel like kind of just gave the sparkles a little bit extra to like pop off of. But I think that is good to keep in mind. I think this one seems like it has less of a base and this one just seems like a touch white in its base. But still, look at that pink to it. Ooh, and I'm seeing the other colors in there also. I'm really excited about this. I feel like it doesn't have the same wet effect as Ice Blink. Like, they're definitely distinctly different finishes, but they both have that sparkle, and I'm really excited to continue my career with both of them. Recently, in my eye swatch videos, I keep on forgetting to mention at the start that I don't have eye primer on, but I don't have eye primer on. Often I'll use my dirty foundation brush to mattify my lids after I wipe off the shadows, but actually my makeup brushes, I cleaned them yesterday, so they're like half wet and not dirty. So my eyes, no, I don't think they're wet, but I will be taking extra care this time to ensure that they're not wet, because I feel like that does kind of help the shadows in a way that I'm not trying to help them at the moment. The next shadow I have not used at all. I'm so excited. Of the three that I got from the Earthborn collection, this is definitely the one that has the most base to it. The other two are iridescent. This one is not an iridescent, which is generally my preference when buying shadows. This is described as a semi-sheer multichrome that shifts from dusty rose, peach, gold, green with fuchsia and silver sparkles. Okay, it doesn't have the same grit as the last two did. Yeah, it definitely applies a bit smoother. Okay, I see the sparkles in it. I also see a lot of sparkles around my eye, so please try to disregard those, as will I. I'm not seeing the shifts in this direct lighting, but I will try to look for them in the indirect lighting. I like the tone of this, but I did think it was going to look a little bit more pink, and I saw pictures where there was a really intense green flip to it, but again, this direct lighting isn't always the best for picking up shifts, and I will try to include that. But I do like the feel of the formula. I do like the pinkiness to it and the sparkles within it. And I think here we can see like an orange copperiness and more of like that dusty rose there. But I want to find the green because the green looks really special. Okay, and then the last one from Shine by SD is part of their Hidden Gems collection. It's called Dangerous, and it's described as a fluorescent yellow with an orange shift. I have heard people comment that like this looks yellow, but it is green, and I'm very curious because it looks so extremely yellow in the pan. I do think also with handmade shadows, sometimes batches can be a little bit different than other batches. I don't know if that's the case here, but I think that is something to keep in mind, that if someone else's is more green, maybe they just had more green pigment in it at that time, and mine could be more yellow, you know? Okay, this has a similar texture to the last one that we tried out. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely a very yellowy green, but yeah, that's undeniably green in there. Cute. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing a super like chartreusey green on the outer parts. I see a pink sparkle here and then just like a light sparkle up top. Wow. Oh, and there's like a reddish sparkle too. Okay, cute. Yeah. I think because of its placement in between green and yellow also, I bet you could really play up that base by using different mattes. I bet if I used a green matte, I could really bring out the green. I bet I could use yellow mattes and bring out the yellow to it. Or, I wonder if I use yellow mattes though, it would make it look more different than the yellow and that would make it look more green. And then using green mattes would make it look more yellow. That's food for thought. But if I layered it over the green, then it would literally have the green poking through it, which would make it look more green, right? Sometimes I get lost in loops within my head, but I see where you're coming from now with the people or person that recommended this as an alternative to Ingrid. It looks so yellow in the pan, but you can see even them just next to each other. Way more green on the eye. Cool. Okay, next we're up to the Terra Moons ones. These I haven't touched at all, and I'm so excited. We're gonna start out with Lunar Lavender. It's described as a metallic lavender with bits of silver, pink, and blue sparkle. When this came out, this was in the collection that I think I ordered in like December and it got to me in like January or February. And this shadow in my mind was kind of grouped together with Prism Skies because they both looked like light purples. I opted for Prism Skies. I regret that. I didn't really like the formula, which I feel like I could have known. It was described as being a similar formula to Shattered Skies, which is a more smooth formula than other multi-chromes of theirs, and I still like Shattered Stars more than I like Prism Skies. So, lesson learned, I should listen to them when they say the formula is close to a formula that I don't like. This looks so bright and sparkly in the pan. I know from experience they have some really gorgeous shadows at their lower price point, and I'm really excited. Ooh. Yeah, it has that like classic Terra Moons feel that a lot, like even like the Cosmos feels like this. It has like a nice metallic pickup to it. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow. My first impression is this might be the prettiest lavender that I have. I love the brightness to it. I love the way the sparkles pop off my face. And it also has dimension. When it's out of the light, you see that like darker plum purple in the base, and then when it is in the light, you just see like straight up light lavender sparkles. That's so pretty. I'm so happy this one is recommended. I'm really excited to use this. That's really pretty. Okay, and then the last one I have from Terra Moons is Big Dipper. It's described as a teal multichrome with lilac, green, and blue shifts. They also say it has larger particles of mica, so they suggest a glitter glue. I never use a glitter glue, and I think they do say that for a lot of their multichrome shadows. I know from seeing swatches and hearing opinions that this isn't the same super flaky formula that they used in some of their most recent multichrome shadows, so I'm excited. Gorgeous metallic, slightly emollient feel when I pick it up. Ooh. Wow. Okay, cool. I was nervous I was going to feel like this was too similar to the family of like the Cosmos, Paleomon from Divina now, Stellar Apotheosis. I am feeling right now like I'm a little bit covered in that family, although I love those shadows and I'm happy I have them. But this one definitely has a richer teal to it that I don't have in my collection. I know why I didn't pick this up originally. I wasn't drawn to it originally. I do have a little bit of a complicated relationship with teals, but right now I've just been kind of like enjoying a pop of teal here and there. For example, I love the look of Oppie on my eyes, which is like a very light teal shadow. This could even pair with Oppie really nicely. Ooh, that's so pretty. I could see it has a similar shift to like the Cosmos, but that base is definitely distinctly different. If you, like me, are not someone who tends to like layer iridescence over different colored bases, this is gorgeous, and this is unique for my collection. We're now on to the last three, which are the Cliona shadows, and I'm going to start out with Tessera, which is this one here. Obviously, that's why I'm holding it up. It's described as a sky blue base with violet, pink, peach, yellow, lime shifts. I will say, I used this once and I was a little bit less impressed with it than I was with the other two Cliona shadows. I find Cliona shadows generally are really gorgeous, but I've encountered a few in my days that just don't have the same kind of like brightness or intensity to them, and this seemed to be the case. I will obviously put it on my eyes right now and have another think about it, but that was my first impression. Yeah, when I pick it up in the pan, it feels a little like drier. You know, I don't need my shadows to be super emollient, but this feels much drier than your average shadow. And I just feel like it comes up a little bit flat. Yeah, and then it goes on almost a little like thin and chalky. You know, I think it's a pretty shadow, and it feels funny to be like poo-pooing a shadow with like this beautiful shift, this beautiful tone to it, but I think at this point, I have a bunch of shades in this family. For example, I have Glass Slipper from Give Me Glow, and that does the blue with pink thing. Not in the same way as that. That's more like a blue with pink sparkle in it, and this seems to be more of like a blue base with a pink sparkly shift. But I would still choose that one over this one, because this one just feels a little bit flat on my eye. So yeah, my initial opinion is reinforced. Not a big fan of this one. Next we'll do Cinder, which I was a big fan of. This one's described as a pink base with red, orange, yellow shifts. I could tell from swatches that I saw that it wasn't going to be the shiftiest shadow of all time, but I love the color of it so much. I love that. And the feel of it really impressed me. So pretty. You know, it's also not the most textured of all Cliona shadows. And something about the way it goes in my eye, I don't know if I would even necessarily wear it on its own just with like a transition color in the crease like I do for most of my looks. But when I did wear it, I actually posted a picture on Instagram, which I'll post here. I used it in conjunction with Palace, and I felt like to add a little bit of dimension to another sparkly pink shadow, it was perfect. And even if I don't think I'll wear it on its own, I love the tone of it. I love the tone of it. I think it's special just because of that. And yeah, I'm happy to have it. I did put on some eye primer for the final shadow because I will be leaving this on. The shadow in question is Palace. This one is from their Pearlescent Multichrome line, which I was a little bit unsure of when they revealed them because it was 4 pink shadows that all looked like kind of similar, but this one, in my opinion, seems to be the standout, and I'm so happy that I picked it up based off my feelings that one time that I used it. It's described as a sheer mauve base with pink, peach, gold, lime, aqua shifts. Ooh, it has a softness to it that the other two didn't have. Ooh, you know that Carla Cosmetics romance quad that I said in my wishlist video that I wanted? I feel like this looks like it belongs in it. And even putting this on makes me feel like I should try to dupe that instead of just lusting for it, because this is so pretty. I do have a bunch of light pink shadows, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe I haven't wrapped my head around them, because a lot of them just don't feel like that special to me when I think of them abstractly. I'm sure if I looked at a collection of them, I'd be like, oh, I love that one and that one and that one, you know? But I feel like this is a light pink that will stand out in my mind. And the tone of it, that like light rosiness, and then it has that like goldy green shift to it. It's just so pretty. It's just so sweet. And it has that brightness too, that even with me pulled back a little bit, like it really stands off my eyelids, and I love that. So I am going to make a look around this, and I'm not really gonna rank these shadows because I don't think anyone's deciding between like Tessera and Ice Blink, but I will swatch them out and give you some final thoughts. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here is the finished look. A couple notes. As I said before about my foundation brush being wet, all of my makeup brushes I washed yesterday, so I put on my makeup using my hands and like the 5 random brushes that I had laying around. I had made a decision a couple months ago to not keep an extra set just in case I poorly planned and needed to do my makeup with my brushes dirty, and I still stand by the decision. I feel like, you know, not the best makeup I've ever had, but also not the worst. This shadow, I was also reminded about my first impression when I had used it that it kind of reminds me of a lighter Nocturne Ash. In this light, it's not as obvious, but this shadow is so shifty. It's so bright pink and it's so bright green. I feel like here we could see the baby steps of that flip, but when I was just putting on my makeup in my other lighting, it was so obvious. So I'll post some images here to show you just how shifty it is. And then also my last thought was that I used 4 shadows for this look, and I feel like this could be the Carla Cosmetics Romance Quad. I have Palace on my lid, obviously. I used a little Fogbow from the Earthborn collection on my inner corners, and I used a matte in my crease and a matte on my lower lash line, both from the Kylie Cosmetics Mauves palette. It also kind of makes me want to do a whole duping the vibes of that Carla quad and maybe even expanding, because I really like this look, and I'm like, yeah, I should really cross off an $82 quad of shadows that might not even be superior quality, probably won't be superior quality to the shadows that I already have and love. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. So here are the Shine by SD shadows swatched out, kind of crappily because it wasn't focusing. The Terra Moons shadows swatched out, and the Cliona shadows swatched out. It's also interesting to have these all next to each other, to just be able to like see the different finishes from the different brands. I feel like the Terra Moons one is the most like boom in your face. The Cliona probably has the biggest difference between them, and the Shine by SD ones all look pretty nice and sparkly. Again, we have Ice Blink, Fogbow, Crown Flash, Dangerous, Lunar Lavender, Big Dipper, Tessera, Cinder, and Palace. I would say of the Shine by SD, my favorite is definitely Ice Blink. I love the wet look effect to it. I love all the different colored sparkles in it, and I'm so excited that I can use it on its own, and it's also going to layer so beautifully over other shadows because I've seen other people do that. The Terra Moons ones are so different from each other. I think I probably am the most excited about Lunar Lavender, but I'm also really excited about Big Dipper. And I probably will end up wearing Big Dipper more. I find if I'm not wearing pinky shadows, I am wearing like teals and blues the most. And then of these Cliona ones, I'm definitely the most excited about Palace, but Cinder, I'm excited to have in here as kind of more of like a building block, or maybe even on my lower lash line. It would look really pretty. I could see that going with this look too, but I wouldn't be able to get it on there with my current state of wet makeup brushes. That's going to be everything for today though. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and there's always more indie makeup content on the way. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.